Alrighty, good morning everybody. Nate with Brookside. Today we're going to just do a quick little how to clean out a pond. Let me get some water off the screen here. Quick little how to clean out a pond. So basically we recommend this as an annual service in line with our whole biomimicry concept. Really, when we build ponds, we're kind of building rivers just with the flow rate and cycle that we're trying to get through the pond on a day-to-day basis. Our ponds don't really look like, technically they don't look like ponds, they look more like rivers. Obviously aesthetically they look like ponds, but with how much water we're cycling, they're rivers. So we do pond cleanouts in the spring because that's when the fish are a little bit more dormant still. They're starting to wake up kind of, but they're gonna be a little bit more dormant. So it's good for the fish, they're not gonna stress them out. But also springtime's when you get the big ice melts in the mountains and you have all the water flowing through the rivers, flushing the rivers, purging them of a whole bunch of stuff that's kind of built up. So here the first step is to drain it out. You can see both of our cleanup pumps are feeding into our stock tanks. That's some dirty water. I'm not going to reuse this water, because they don't have fish, so I'm not worried about having the proper chemistry in the water for the fish. But also this is the water I'm going to use to flush out all this muck. So once these two tanks are full, I'm going to stick our orange hosed pump into one of these tanks and flush out with the blue pump. We're just going to send it off into the wood line because there's so much mud or so much muck. If there wasn't so much muck, what I would actually do is I would discharge it into the lawn, because this water is going to be super nutrient rich. So it's just going to feed the lawn with water, nutrients, liquid gold, baby, liquid black gold. Anyway, so we're gonna get it pumped down, and then what I'm gonna do is, since it's off, I'm gonna go through and pull out all the debris, the physical, or the sticks, basically the sticks and the leaves, and then I'm gonna flush it. Alrighty, so the pond's drained out into our two tanks here. I thought there was gonna be more water in here, but they only got out about 600 gallons. So these are two 400-gallon tanks. You can see this one's halfway full. That one's like 2/3 of the way full, so we're gonna call it 600 gallons out. There's still probably another 100 or so in there, but I don't want to get it and use it to clean out because it's gonna be nasty stuff. So I've got a hose running from the house down into this tank to fill it up some more, so I have more water to flush with. So my next step is gonna be to go through and just kind of pick out some of these alder droppings, some of this pond weed here in the pond, and then go up the stream, clean out the biofalls, the skimmer, and then I'm gonna start flushing. Around that time, well, after I flush, then I'm gonna go through some of these plants and kind of thin them out a little bit. That one's nice and dense, or condensed still, so I probably won't touch it, but this guy's gonna get burned back quite a bit, so that's what's next. Alright guys, so I've gone through and I've picked out the debris that was in there, the leaves, the twigs, and what that did, in addition to getting all that stuff, it allowed me to inspect the liner, or at least the condition of the streams. So you can see, like over here, we got that root coming through. I don't think that's poking through the liner, but one of the more concerning spots, these alder trees up here are really vicious, but one of the more concerning spots that I noticed is over here. You can see all that root mat in there, and then roots coming through here. Might not be like the biggest concern right now. Basically what that means is that with those roots coming through over the liner, or maybe even through the liner, you're just leaving the potential for water loss, or you know, it's just water loss. The one thing that tree roots do is that they have a tendency to plug the holes that they create, but you know, God forbid, the earth settles more and the root gets slightly dislodged in the hole it's made, and now you have this massive leak. So while they aren't necessarily a pressing concern for the immediate foreseeable future, down the road, you never know what's going to happen. You might have a problem there. I also went through, pulled some of the stuff out of here, this pond, a lot of exposed liner. I think just over time it's settled. It looks like over there's a corner where there wasn't any clumpy granite that was stacked, and so there's nothing there to keep the round rock up. And then that's it so far. Anyway, so the next step is going to be to flush out the streams and the pond. You can see I've got our trash pump there, and it discharges off into the wood line. And then our clean out pump, the orange hose pump, is over there in that stock tank, and it runs up here to the top. So I'm gonna start flushing out the streams. Probably gonna push some water into the biofalls to clean that out a little bit, because there's a check valve down in the skimmer. So that'll clean out the biofalls and the plumbing. So biofalls, streams, pond, get all that stuff pushed out. And then once I've got most of the loose debris out, or all the loose debris out, that's when I'll go through and hit everything with the pressure washer and kind of bring the color back out of the rock. On to the next step here. I've got it mostly pumped out. I'm not going to worry about the last little bit, because as I pressure wash, I'm going to get more stuff down in there into the lower pooling area here. Well, not pooling area, but the lowest part of the pond. That's probably 4 inches of water down in there. So next thing I'm going to do, I've got the pressure washer out. This is one of our super special tools here, RB 400 steel pressure washer. So with the pressure washer, what I'm going to do is clean off this rockery here in the waterfalls in the stream, get the color back out, and kind of break up some of the specifically kind of tight stuff. I'm going to break up some of the gunk that's sitting down here in the skimmer box. Once I get all the pressure washing done, I'm going to give it a final rinse, make sure I got all the debris out, and then I'm going to go through and just inspect it, make sure everything looks good, note down any concerns I have, and then I'll be filling it back up. The other thing I'm going to do before I take off today is make sure that the lights work, and if they don't, try to diagnose that. So yeah. All right guys, so I got it all pressure washed, and now I'm filling it back up. There it is. It looks a little dark, but it's doing pretty good. Just kind of some weird lighting out here. So they don't have very great pressure out here off the hose spigot. So what I'm actually going to do is I already talked with the homeowner, and they're going to monitor it as it fills up with their hose, so I can go take care of some other things, which is at this point kind of standard for us, to just, if it's a larger pond or if you have slower water pressure, then we'll ask you to fill it up. It helps with basically the budget of the job. So we have a full pond now. You guys unfortunately won't get to see it running, but that is how that's the gist of a pond cleanout. Have a good one.